They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest,
that's rich, because that's what just happened.
Express your First Amendment rights, please do.
You gave them a show, all right.
Always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you
what is this one doing? What in the shit even?
Please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Crazy stuff, man. What's the response from the admin, Ben?
Democrats took money from our kids. Democrats took money from your kids, the kids who need.
Oh, that's right. And all this with this recent shooting, all this is going on right in the middle of the Oversight Committee hearing on Somali fraud in Minnesota. They have all these Minnesota state senators coming down to testify. I really want to see what's come out of that today. I think they wanted someone to get shot.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
Another angle. See a damn thing there.
Oh my fucking god!
Wild. All right. Now there's Comer offering comment, I guess, after the hearing let out. Let's see.
There are reports that members of Congress are actually receiving daycare and healthcare clinic money funneled through various PACs. If this is true and widespread, how can the American people trust Congress to task and uncover the far-reaching tentacles of this fraud?
Any member of Congress that's getting any money unethically or illegally, there's an ethics committee, and it's a bipartisan. It's an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, and that's the committee that's supposed to investigate members of Congress. The ethics committee was created. We have in our rules that we're not supposed to investigate other members, but the ethics committee has a staff, and that is their sole purpose for existence in life. And I think the House Ethics Committee traditionally has been a lot harder on unethical behavior than the Senate Ethics Committee. That's my opinion. But anybody that has information on a member of Congress, bring that to the Ethics Committee and they'll investigate it. And I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. We need to hold them accountable.
What about Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's at the top of the suspect list in that, so we'll see.
Thank you.
But I can tell you, my members, there are going to be ethics complaints. She's at the top of the. She had an opportunity to come in here today.
Yeah, she was actually right across the hall at the Black Caucus lunch.
If there was anything about Kentucky, I would have been there, and I think that's the way it is with most members, especially the Somali. This is a hearing about Somali fraud. There have been countless reports that her husband has profited in some way, and she in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if that's true or not, but she could have had an opportunity to come in here and defend herself. So hopefully you all may knock on her door and ask her some questions, and we'll see what she has to say.
Okay. There's discussion of where the vehicle is from. The plates of the vehicle that nearly ran over an ICE agent were registered in Missouri. It would appear that activists are likely traveling to Minnesota, to protest ICE's presence. Oh yeah, this lady followed them around all over the place. Multiple states, I'm quite sure. Harassing them everywhere they went. And then you had this wacko, Peggy Flanagan, leading Democrat candidate for U.S. Senate in Minnesota, telling activists to put their bodies on the line. Literally.
Our neighbors are being disappeared. P.S. Without due process, it is just called kidnapping. Then show up and use your voice. Put your body on the line. Our neighbors.
Huh. How about that? Is that wow? Let me see if I can find that, Sonny. Did Mayor Free give a retreat order? Oh my goodness! Look at that. He did.
Pull out of the area, and that's really sad to say. It wasn't happening as much earlier then because there were police around. Now keep in mind though,
the police are gone, like straight up gone, pulled out, cleared out of the area.
these people still don't have very much respect for police. Although you see that the police that will back away when they start getting pushback from these leftist agitators that are out there. But the mayor is the one giving those orders, telling them to bail out and leave. So a lot of these police officers want to be able to enforce the law and keep the people in all the, this is a residential area. These people feel very unsafe down here right now because it feels like anarchy.
No, I have to wonder.
Pull out of the area, and that's really sad to say. It wasn't happening.
Crazy, man. Fucking Mayor Free. Okay. Let me see if I can find Waltz talking about the National Guard. Here we go.
Other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota, and you can be assured whether it's the state patrol or
this is very, very quickly shaping up into a what could turn very quickly into like a showdown between the federal government and Minnesota, between Trump and Waltz. Pathetic as that would be. That's where this is headed. Desperation.
whether it's the National Guard, their deployment is there to protect Minnesotans from whatever it is. If it's an act of nature, if it's a global pandemic, or in this case, if it is a rogue federal agent. I don't know at this time, and I want to be very careful. Other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota, and you can be assured. Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that the National Guard is their main mission. They have a dual mission. There's the federal mission when they're under Title 10 orders, and then they're under Title 32 orders. In this warning order, there's nothing officially been done yet. If I am to activate them as the Commander-in-Chief of the Minnesota National Guard, I will issue the executive order to the Minnesota National Guard, and then they will be put in state duty status. And as you've seen over the last few years, that could be flood prevention, that could be after a wind blowing storm up in the north, up in Bemidji, or it could be COVID or George Floyd response. In this case, again, it doesn't necessarily change the mission. They're there to protect Minnesotans. They're there to serve Minnesotans. I think the thing that is so challenging in the moment we're in is we don't see a desire to work with us on public safety. We hear a demonization of our state. We see people coming in who don't know our community, and we see this massive display for the TVs that we're trying to understand how is this coordinated. And some of you watch the videos on there, total chaos. And
loser. Mm-mm-mm.
To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you
He says as he gives them the show.
protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully as you always do.
What a thing to say. He
We can't
knows
give
full well what will happen.
them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this. Please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update.
He says as he uses it, as he himself uses it as a prop in a political fight.
Update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Shameless.
I have to wonder how the homeowners feel after seeing what happened to the storefronts and businesses of Minnesota just 6 years ago, less than 6 years ago, how those homeowners in that area
we're
feel.
only blocks away from where the George Floyd situation happened.
Oh, wow. Wow.
If you still go there nowadays, the buildings are still charred. There's still, I mean, it still looks like total destruction just like it did back then. It's never recovered.
Wow. Okay, Mayor Free. What meow? What meow? Governor Tim Walz threatens to mobilize Minnesota National Guard. Okay.
Tim Walz, this is breaking, is now threatening.
I guess it's just B-roll. All right. Whatevs. Okay, I think that's all the clips for Waltzy. Let me go on to the main pile here. Oh, fun cartoons. Yes. Yeah, saw this one. It's decent.
I run the daycare center now.
And who gave you
Just as a meme, you know, it's good fun.
permission?
My boy Tampon Tim, aka the fraud father, gave us the green to open this here quality leering daycare. So we ran with it. The rest is history.
You realize the sign? It spells learning, not leering.
Well, this is the first thing the children learn. They see the sign and we test them with visual aids. This is how we teach.
Wait, I thought that in Minnesota, to be a licensed daycare, you're required to have a 15 square foot playground within 2,000 feet of the building.
It will pop up tomorrow morning. Don't worry about it.
You have all the documents, right?
There was
I
a break
stole that shit, man.
in, and they stole the documents, unfortunately.
How did they get?
What? Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yes, this is from yesterday, last night. Bombshell Minnesota auditor report just dropped, confirmed that Tim Walz's Department of Human Services fabricated records and did not verify grant recipients, tried covering their tracks, enabling massive fraud.
Against fraud. The performance audit shows the Behavioral Health Administration sent millions of dollars out the door in grants without making proper checks into who was receiving them. And that is not even the most jaw-dropping finding. Lou Raguse has tonight's top story. Lou?
Julie, according to the nonpartisan legislative auditor, this is another case of mismanagement of taxpayer money. But perhaps the most explosive revelation is that managers within DHS, the Department of Human Services, tried to cover their tracks by backdating and creating new documents.
But I do want to talk about what a serious issue this is and how it is, frankly, unacceptable.
Another sobering report by the Office of the Legislative Auditor, this one concerning the Behavioral Health Administration within the Department of Human Services, which issues grants to providers treating mental health and drug and alcohol addiction, hundreds of millions of dollars each year. The audit found them issuing grants to applicants without a bidding process.
So what we saw is that there was multiple entities that could have been eligible, and they chose not to provide a justification for why they were picking those.
This report is quite stunning.
One outrageous example, the auditors found a grantee that was paid $672,000 for 1 month of work without any info on what they do. And the audit says the grant manager who paid it then left DHS a couple days later and became a paid consultant for that company.
To me, that's criminal.
Auditor Julie Randall says she was most shocked that during the audit, multiple DHS managers backdated or created new documents to try to cover their tracks.
Frankly, in the 27 plus years I've been with OLA, I have never seen this before. I will say we have had suspicion.
That's not the first thing I've seen about some interesting crossover traffic between DHS and the fraud industry. I stumbled across another one just last night while I was digging, and God, what was it that happened in there? I forget exactly what it was. They either had a DHS person like in their pocket, or they were impersonating people, like they were impersonating DHS agents. I think that was it. I think that's what they were doing. It's wild stuff. How complex some of these schemes get.
Periodically, but we have never been able to prove it, to document it, and we did in this case, and it's very troubling.
Temporary DHS Commissioner Shireen Gandhi's response.
I was shocked to hear this information in the exit conference, and it is absolutely unacceptable that any staff would provide anything other than accurate representation of the work done to an auditor.
Now, there were a lot of questions from lawmakers about whether this audit should result in criminal investigations. So we'll see what comes from that. The Office of the Legislative...
Yeah, how interesting this comes out just yesterday, and then bang. Everything goes batshit insane the day after. All right. Now, beginning of the day here. U.S. and Venezuela have reached an agreement to export up to $2 billion worth of Venezuelan crude to U.S. ports. A move that could redirect oil shipments meant for China and ease pressure on Venezuela's sanctioned oil industry.
As the FBI announcing they recovered an electronic device with a series of short videos recorded by the gunman shortly after the shootings. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Massachusetts saying the following. In the videos, the 48-year-old Portuguese national admitted that he had been planning the Brown University shooting for a long time.
Weird.
He stated that Brown University was his intended target, but he did not provide a motive for targeting students at Brown or the professor at MIT.
What the hell? Like, what?
Authorities go on to say that the gunman showed no remorse during the recordings, quote, exposing his true nature when he blamed innocent, unarmed children for their deaths. Now, on the Brown shooting, he said in the transcript of one video, quote, I had plenty of opportunities, especially this semester, but I always chickened out. 2 students were killed, in addition to 9 others that were hospitalized. Thankfully, each of those victims is now back home. As the
Nick Reiner is set to be arraigned in the killing of his parents, Rob and Michelle.
It's been reported that his defense, they want an insanity.
Oh yeah, they're going insanity. Of course they are. Whether they'll get it, I don't know, but they're going for it. You're not going to believe who I ran into at LAX. Oh, Adam Schiff. This should be fun.
You're not going to believe who I just ran into at the airport. It's like my best friend now. Been so long. Adam Schiff.
How you doing?
Doing well. So in the Senate, what do you think's going to get you first? The treason you committed against President Trump in his first 4 years, or the fraud in California?
Take care of yourself, huh?
Yeah, I am. Just wondering, any family history?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Got a little bit of the Somali resemblance.
He's going to go full on bigot now, huh?
Why do you think we have so much fraud, though, being committed? And in Democrat cities and states? What do you think caused that? One last question. Do you think the fact that Eric Swalwell had an affair with a Chinese spy?
Yeah, fucking airports. The worst. All right. AG Keith Ellison facing scrutiny after 2021 audio resurfaced in which he vowed support for a group that included now convicted Somali fraud defendants.
So as we know here,
So this is the leaked audio from the other night, huh?
in Minneapolis, the investigation into these fraud allegations is far from over. But sources are telling Fox again this morning that now that Governor Tim Walz says he's not going to run for re-election, the feds are also shifting their focus to the state's Attorney General, Keith Ellison. Why? Because a newly obtained clip by Fox that we just got yesterday, that was from 2021, has Ellison meeting in this recording with a group of people who are asking for his help. The problem is those people, you guys, were then just days later arrested for one of the biggest fraud scandals in the state. Watch.
The only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
So now officials are saying, why was Ellison meeting with this group in the first place? They were asking him to help them get more federal funding, offering votes and campaign donations for support. So the audio clip is part of an ongoing investigation into the widespread fraud across the state. Ellison's office sharing an op-ed that he wrote in the local paper. He said, in part, I took a meeting in good faith with people I didn't know, and some turned out to have done bad things. I did nothing for them and took nothing from them. But documents obtained by the Center for the American Experiment say some of those non-convicted Somali fraudsters that he met with donated money to Ellison's campaign after that meeting. It's money, though, he did later give back once this group was indicted, according to reports.
Yeah,
So there's just so many levels of this fraud that's been going on for years, according to officials. Fox obtained that full, nearly 1 hour-long clip of the meeting with the lawyer of Amy Bach. For people wondering who that is there on your screen, she's the Minnesota woman who was one of many convicted
Amy Bach.
last year in that $250 million Feeding Our Future scam. That's how this all started with Bach. She's behind bars, though, but her legal team tells me, where's the accountability for the governor and the attorney general? He said the state let the fraud happen. Do you think some of these policies...
This ain't even the biggest one, man. That's what blows my mind. This ain't even the biggest one in the country. People are like all up in arms over this, which they should be. This is a drop in the freaking bucket, man. It's going on in every gosh dang state in the union. I just stumbled across damn near 100 million scandal in my own area. That $293 million one in Illinois, which connected more broadly to like a whole bunch of others that added up to, what was it, 14 something billion. There's so much going on with this. They're, for whatever reason, being relatively quiet about it. I mean, they put out the press releases announcing that arrests happen in the cases, and you know what happens when the cases are decided. But that's it. Media doesn't really touch it, except for, well, this one now. These have largely gone ignored up until recently, so it's good. Now, what just happened there? Why we lost our spot? There we are. All right, Democrats on their heels for this hearing.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. I just want to start by thanking, of course, our witnesses for being here today and for all the members being back. We all agree, I think everyone on both sides of the aisle can agree, that fraud is a threat at every level of government, in every private sector business, and to every single American. Fraud exists everywhere. When I was mayor of my hometown in Long Beach, we worked for better and more efficient government and took on fraud whenever it existed and wherever it appeared to protect taxpayers. It's something that all of us take seriously every single day. When we find fraud, we should punish people and those that are committing it against the American public, especially when it damages services that people rely on. Now, what we should not do is use fraud as an excuse to rip away aid from innocent people who follow the rules and need help in our society. We should fight fraud when people rip off programs designed to help working families. And also, we should fight fraud when large corporations and wealthy individuals dodge their own taxes and rig the system for their own benefit. And especially, we should fight fraud when figures in our government, particularly those in power within the White House or our agencies, get rich and profit from their offices. Fraud is never acceptable, and it undermines public trust, whoever commits it. But let's remember that some of the worst fraud and corruption is actually found at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Republicans like to talk about fraud in states with Democratic governors, oftentimes exclusively. But Republicans also have a president who has pardoned or reduced jail time for 25 criminals convicted of fraud in this year alone. Now, some of these fraudsters have made also huge campaign contributions to Donald Trump. And worst of all, Trump's pardons mean that these criminals can avoid paying back more than $1 billion, which they owe their victims, and dwarfs much of the fraud that the House majority wants to talk about today. This is actually the opposite of accountability. Instead, the House majority wants to excuse and cut programs, which they have done from the start. Now, Donald Trump's signature law cut money for health care and food programs. Medicaid and CHIP help almost half the kids in the United States see a doctor. And that we lost, of course, $1 trillion in those programs. Over 10 million people could lose health care. Trump's law also cut 40 million people who use SNAP. And this includes, by the way, 1 out of every 5 kids. And this is happening not just in Minnesota. The president plans to freeze more than $10 billion for child care subsidies, social services, and cash support for low-income families in Minnesota, New York, Colorado, Illinois, and my home state of California. Of course, we know these states have Democratic governors that Donald Trump wants to punish. And we should look at those consequences if we want to talk about fraud. In Minnesota, which we're talking about today, Donald Trump is removing child care funding for the entire state. That frozen funding provides child care for over 18,000 kids. These kids didn't commit fraud. So I want to know why they should be punished. Last night, he said he's withholding all possibly Medicaid funds from Minnesota, which could harm 1 in 5 residents. Now, in New York, another state he's threatening, that's over 66,000 innocent kids, while pardoning, of course, 25 fraudsters and robbing victims of over $1 billion. Donald Trump should have to face the kids and parents who will be hurt, even though they've done nothing wrong. I want to know what the president and the House majority expect the parents of these kids to do. Many don't seem to care. He wants to pardon and protect more rich crooks and fraudsters who have robbed over $1 billion from innocent people. Now, in California, in my home state, this threatens over 176,000 kids. 176,000 kids. Well, he continues, of course, to pardon fraudsters and connected folks that have donated immense amounts of money to his campaign. Now, this hurts not just Democratic families, but Republican families. It's innocent kids, regardless of political party, who need child care. We are in an affordability crisis.
guy. Just kept waiting for that to like get better. But it's just that asshole. All right. Democrat makes a mistake of claiming Somalis are strengthening Minnesota. You got to be kidding me.
Mr. Balu, again, thank you for being here.
Nice. Mr. Gill.
Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somali.
And nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here.
Go for
it. Again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems pretty low, doesn't it?
Again,
I freaking love Gil. He's fantastic. He's good. Okay.
Today marks a decisive change.
What was he announcing today?
Federal nutrition policy made possible by President Trump's leadership and the work of Maha moms and public health advocates who demanded reform.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, let me pop that up. Oh, shit. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there. Okay, right. They're about to break that glass. Here we go. Jeez. It's a courthouse in Minneapolis. Come on. Ugh. God, that is annoying. think that sound must like slowly chip away at the brain tissue of everyone in the vicinity? That's what it feels like listening to it from all the way back here. Yeah, they did bust the glass. Wow. Let me see if we can find any live feeds here.
Capitol Hill with what they had to say.
No, okay.
Delivering the prayers and thinking about kind of what I want to say, what I want to put out there. And really, this day is not only just for Renee, but it's for the rest of us. A tragedy happened today. Someone died. It was the inevitable. As soon as the ICE raids began, we all knew what was going to happen eventually. This was a rogue faction of the government that was created just to brutalize black and brown bodies. And it is no surprise that in the same city that George Floyd was killed, that another death took place at the
You bet that's not a surprise, but not for the reason you think it is.
hands of a militarized rogue system. We heard our brother talk about accountability with the police system. Unfortunately, there is no accountability. No amount of transparency can change the fact that these systems are just inherently racist and meant to brutalize black and brown bodies and to control the poor. It is domestic terrorism. But, and I want to say but, we outside. But
we outside.
Despite it all,
is it supposed to like be intimidating or something?
When we were driving around, hell, if you were walking, and shout out to you bus riders, right? Shout out to transit.
Yeah, I'm a bus riders and shit.
But when we looked at every corner in this city today,
people are insufferable, obnoxious. I can't do it. Nope. I won't do it. All right, let's see more. That's all. It's all just this one freaking clip. Like, come on. There's got to be more than that. These people are busting into a freaking courthouse. All just that one. Wow. All right, who's the source?
I don't know how to do anything. I don't know. I say we line up right across these and block these doors.
Damn right.
I second that motion. Go ahead. Try and move us. Let's block them in.
And you know what?
She's
a lawyer, so is that all right? Is that all right?
I refuse to provide legal advice.
Oh, okay, it's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right, because we're not
But I
doing
will
nothing wrong.
say, misdemeanor bail, $78 exactly is the minimum bail. Make sure you have some cash on you when
I got
you
some
are
cash
out.
for everybody.
Make sure that you get yourselves out.
For real.
They have it down to a system, dude.
Let's lock these doors up so they can lose business and deal with this atrocity that happened. If they arrest us all, it's going to be a party in jail.
I don't have to do anything. I don't know. I say we line.
Send it in, JD. Send him in. He'll take care of business. All right. Back to it here. What do we got? Like 40 minutes left. All right. Okie dokie. Ooh, what's Macro Rubio doing today?
Point. It's a very interesting point. One of those ships that was seized that had oil in the Caribbean, you know what the interim authorities are asking for in Venezuela? They want that oil that was seized to be part of this deal. They understand that the only way they can move oil and generate revenue and not have economic collapse is if they cooperate and work with the United States, and that's what we see are going to happen. We got to go talk to the House, guys. I apologize. Point. It's a very interesting point. One of those.
Correct. And they're in jail waiting sentences. Is that right?
No. Gilligan, why not?
So would you say this is the Somali population is an important demographic for Democrats to win over politically?
Yeah.
Unquestionably.
Got it. And do you think it would have hurt Democrats' political standing with the Somali population to investigate this fraud?
Very clearly.
Got it. So in other words, you're saying that there was a political incentive to cover up widespread Somali fraud. Is that right?
100%.
Got it. Let me ask all three of you. Did the Waltz administration and Democrats intentionally, in your opinion, overlook this fraud while it was happening for political gain? I'll start with you, Ms. Robbins.
Absolutely. We have credible whistleblower reports that the Department of Human Services administration up to the OIG and the commissioner met with a group called the Minnesota Minority Child Care Association multiple times, and that they were trying to weaken protections. We wanted, we had several changes we wanted to do, and they opposed all of them.
And Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, and then my time is up.
I would agree.
Absolutely. The whistleblowers confirm it.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, fear of retaliation. This is one of the opening statements of one of the people testifying.
Representative Rarick for her opening statement.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. For the record, my name is Marion Rarick, and I am currently serving in the Minnesota House of Representatives in House District 29B. I am a member on the Minnesota House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee, which was recently formed in January of 25.
Wow.
I was first asked to serve on the committee on January 4th, and soon after, the 5 Republican members began to meet. During one of those discussions, I was asked to reach out to the Department of Human Services whistleblowers on X, now called Minnesota Staff Fraud Reporting Commentary. I had been following them in the previous year. I reached out through a direct tweet on X on January 16th, and the very same day I got a response back that yes, they would be willing to speak to the Fraud Prevention Committee. Since that first contact, Chair Robbins and I and Representative Hudson have had multiple conference calls with them, and we have had one in-person meeting. At that meeting, they were both former and current employees. I've continued to message with them very often, sometimes daily, and their collective message has been completely consistent. Instead of focusing on fraud.
So I guess that the account is indeed legit. Wow. Good to hear.
Fraudsters, DHS leadership instead focused its surveillance on employees. Since then, their expressed fear of retaliation has intensified under an avalanche of fraud in Minnesota. Their numbers have grown from 480 DHS employees, both current and former, to over 1,000 across multiple state agencies. They have told me repeatedly how grateful they are to the House Fraud Prevention Committee for focusing our attention on fraud in the state programs, using their inside information while keeping them completely protected. They have explained that they live in a constant state of fear of retaliation. One only has to look at what happened to Faye Bernstein to understand why. In a very recent Newsweek article dated December 13th of 25, Ms. Bernstein, a former compliance specialist, stated, Minnesota DHS functions in the opposite manner as you would think. Employees who suggest improvements or, heaven forbid, report fraud then face significant retaliation. The messenger is shot. In 2019, Bernstein said she alerted Minnesota DHS officials to sloppy contracting practices that were not legally compliant. But it's not what most people would even consider fraud. She says she was later escorted out of the building, faced lengthy investigation, got trespassed from all DHS owned and leased properties, and received involuntary transfer to another state agency.
Wow.
So she says, so today if someone asks me, should I report fraud within DHS, I say no, no, no. It is career suicide plus a whole lot more. So let's talk about that plus a whole lot more.
Wow. It's an interesting opening statement there. Off to a good start. Is it really any wonder they wanted riots popping off as all this was going on?
You, Chairman Comer. I just
saw that idiot. Skip forward in time a little bit here.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis.
Wow. Mayor Free commenting after the shooting. Fucking shit stain.
Collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people.
Yeah, I can't look away from the stupid sign language dancing.
So
it's mostly the faces. Like, just stop making that stupid face.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
Most obnoxious thing.
Having seen the video of myself.
Witchcraft, I'm telling you. Shit. This shit right here. Creepy as heck.
Want to get down to Washington. We have some breaking news out of the White House. Eamon Javers has that for us. What do we know here, Eamon?
Scott, we've got a new post here on social media from the President of the United States.
Oh, this is huge news. This is a freaking massive deal. This is so big. being overshadowed massively by all of the cuckoo shit going on. But this is so freaking big. Trump saying he's going to be taking steps to block large institutional investors from buying homes. That means BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and all the others like them.
Says he is taking action to deal with inflation in home costs. The president taking to social media to say that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals and more at my speech in Davos in 2 weeks. So the president here is saying that the American dream
follows through on this, man. He's killing it. He is just kicking ass.
Of owning a home has gotten out of reach for too many Americans, particularly young Americans, and says he is going to take steps to block large institutional investors from buying homes.
Want to get down to Washington. We have some breaking news.
Gotta cement that shit long term, though. There's his tweet. Okay. Or a True Social post. For a very long time, buying and owning a home was considered the pinnacle of the American dream. It was the reward for working hard and doing the right thing. But now, because of record high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress, that American dream is increasingly out of reach for far too many people, especially younger Americans. It is for that reason and much more that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes. And I will be calling on Congress to codify it. Yes, 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 yes. People live in homes, not corporations. I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals and more at my speech in Davos in 2 weeks. Interesting. In Davos, huh? National Guard on the streets after the insanity today.
Get back! Get back up! Get back up! Let go! Whoa!
It's supposed to be his boyfriend here.
Kill someone else! Go for it! Kill someone else!
One person today.
They only shoot one person today. If you couldn't make that out, that's what he said. Okay. Yeah, we'll skip it. Vance involved in all policy, right-hand man of the president in all policy matters, including Venezuela policy. Was present on the night of the operation via secure communication in a different location. Interesting. All right. Trump actually followed through on the long-held promise to take down the illegitimate Maduro regime.
I think the fact that this president actually followed through on the long-held promise of the United States of America, the bipartisan promise to take down the illegitimate Maduro regime, should give assurance to the Venezuelan people and also Venezuelan Americans who fled this communist regime for a better life here at home, that this is a president who is serious about taking down illegitimate regimes and who is also serious about securing the security of the United States of America, including the Venezuelan American people. And I would just add that this is something that not just Republicans and President Trump have talked about for a very long time, but it is also something that Democrats have advocated for. In 2020, Chuck Schumer said that that at the time, President Trump had not brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. Now you hear Chuck Schumer out there saying this is reckless. The American people and the Venezuelan people should be in fear. But this is something that Chuck Schumer has long advocated for. Senator Chris Van Hollen, same thing, had said that the United States is going to use its leverage and influence to push for negotiations to transition to the truly elected leader. This was under President Biden. We know Maduro and his cronies don't want to go quietly into the night. The U.S. needs to work to ratchet up the pressure. Now, Senator Holland says it's an illegal act of war to get rid of Nicolas Maduro. So the hypocrisy is really astounding here. And
yep. Oh no. Where'd my D live chat go? There y'all are. Okay. Let's keep moving here. Bingo. President has been very clear on Greenland. This is what Greenland is all about, man. It's simple as keeping Russia and China out of the fucking Arctic. And keeping passage free and clear for us. It shortened shipping times. It's a big deal.
There have also been reports that the U.S. could potentially buy Greenland as one potential option on the table. What would such an offer look like? Is there anything monetarily you could provide, any details there?
Well, that's something that's currently being actively discussed by the president and his national security team. And I would point out that the acquisition of Greenland by the United States is not a new idea. This is something that presidents dating back to the 1800s have said is advantageous for America's national security. The president has been very open and clear with all of you and with the world that he views it in the best interests of the United States to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the Arctic region. And so that's why his team is currently talking about what a potential purchase would look like.
There have also been reports that the U.S. could potentially buy.
Yep.
To date, the Department of Justice has charged 98 total defendants in several Medicaid fraud and related case programs. 64 were convicted.
Wait, repeat that? Hold on.
To date, the Department of Justice has charged 98 total defendants in several Medicaid fraud and related case programs. 64 were convicted, and 85 of the 98 charged were of Somali descent. The DOJ has also issued over 1,700 subpoenas, executed over 130 search warrants, and they have now added more attorneys to their office there to absorb the case flow. DHS is on the ground going door to door conducting large-scale criminal and HSI investigations. They have also sent approximately 2,000 agents to Minneapolis to assist with law enforcement and immigration enforcement. As I said, Secretary Noem was on the ground yesterday. The Department of Health and Human Services has also begun requiring a justification and photo evidence for all child care related payments nationwide, and they required Minnesota to conduct a full audit of all child care centers. They also froze $185 million in funding to Minnesota. And Dr. Oz, who was just here, also notified Governor Walz they're going to begin auditing Medicaid recipients and deferring payments on claims based on waste, fraud, and abuse. The Department of Labor is also conducting a targeted review of Minnesota's unemployment program. Department of Agriculture requiring Minnesota to conduct recertification for SNAP recipients, and HUD has launched investigations into the public housing. SBA has also suspended nearly 7,000 borrowers amid suspected fraudulent activity. So, with all of that, rest assured this is an all-hands-on-deck effort from the entire administration to get to the bottom of this and to ensure that the ripping off of taxpayers in the state of Minnesota, and it won't just be Minnesota, it'll be any state across this country where fraud has taken place, and we are protecting law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens.
All right, let me jump over to Nick here. More from Christy Noem too. Let's see. Look at this. Here's the overhead view of the protest forming where this woman was shot. Boy, they're like setting up signs and a little circle of candles. What a load of garbage. Oh, jeez. Gotta weaponize everything. All right. to see this.
I've spoken to the president today on the situation here on the ground. I also just got off the phone a little while ago with Governor Walz and spoke to him as well. I want to reiterate first with all of you the facts of what happened today. At 10:25 a.m. Central Time, Immigration and Customs Enforcement were carrying out lawful operations here in Minneapolis. Because of the adverse weather that Minneapolis has seen in recent snow, one of the vehicles became stuck and ensnared in the snow. Law enforcement were attempting to push out this vehicle, and when a mob of agitators that were harassing them all day began blocking them in, shouting at them, and impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle and attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues. He was treated at a local hospital, has been released, and is now with family. You know, it's clearly established law that a vehicle driven by a person and used to harm someone is a deadly weapon. Deadly force is perfectly lawful when a threat is faced by a weapon. So I do believe that this officer used his training in this situation, and we'll let the FBI continue the investigation to get it resolved.
Yeah. Yep, I think he's right about that. Nick Swordhorse says, I need security in Minneapolis as soon as humanly possible. I will gladly compensate well. It's too unsafe for me to report on the ground out here alone right now, but very soon legacy media is going to bail, and we must have independent journalists in the streets. They will. They will absolutely bail.
A protest is being planned at the federal building, and that's going to be taking place after dark. That's when things really, really get bad in areas like this.
Here we go.
That's when we saw in like 2020, all of this stuff, like the Summer of Love, after George Floyd, it was the same mayor and the same actions that were being taken, where they take the police out of the area and people are allowed to run the streets wild. I actually couldn't even get to the place where I wanted to do this hit from because a lot of these anarchists now have the roads blocked and police are nowhere to be found. It's devolving then. A protest is being planned at the federal building, and that's going to be taking place after dark.
I don't know if I did play that part, Auto Sherry. Let me see if I can find it. Yep, here.
After a fatal
Jacob Free tells ICE to get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. And I have a message for ICE.
Can't wait to see this guy investigated, locked up, and tried. All right.
Because of the adverse weather that Minneapolis has seen in recent snow, one of the vehicles became stuck and
That's the full press conference, huh?
officers were using. But remember, when we operate in a task force model. So we have other federal agencies that work with us and we're very direction. If you talk to any of these federal law enforcement officers, they'll say that when they call for backup in a situation, that it's hit and miss. They were grateful today that the police chief and local law enforcement showed up at the scene and helped secure it to make sure that nobody was harmed and that the FBI could do their work. But I would encourage them to work with us, that we could form a partnership that would make sure that individuals have the opportunity to have a safe Minneapolis.
Excuse me. I don't even know that it's known, like, who was it that actually shot? Was it local cops or ICE? I saw a report somewhere that at least one of the people on the ground there wasn't wearing ICE gear. They were wearing just police gear, which may not necessarily mean anything. Yeah, I don't know where I saw it. It's all right. Oh, wow. This wacko, Ayanna Presley, had a total mental breakdown, which is saying something for her, and ended up shouting like a lunatic after she insulted the witnesses and broke decorum.
But really,
Typical.
he's just a criminal. So raise your hand if you oppose Trump's pardon of this Minnesota individual.
Ma'am, this grandstanding nonsense
This is not
is
grandstanding.
exactly
This is
what
accountability.
Minnesotans hate about D.C.
This is accountability, and you are hypocrites. So again, I will take your
Thanks
refusal
for demonstrating my opening
Mr. Chairman, order, decorum. She's off the
Reclaiming
rails.
my time. I'm not off the rails, please.
You are
Enough
totally
with your
off the
tropes.
rails.
Nancy,
Order.
enough
Off the
with your
rails.
tropes. Give me
Order.
my time back.
Order, Mr. Chairman.
If Republicans were serious about reclaiming
Somebody
my
who's
time,
me.
restore the time.
My constituents. You have no time left. You're
Get to
overtime.
accuse me of things that
You're
you
overtime.
You're out of
Order.
time.
Reclaiming my
You're out of
time.
time.
There's no
You're
time
out of
left.
time. We're done here.
You're
We're
out of
done.
time.
Touch in out of time. At least 10
Mr. Chair,
she's out of time.
Time's expired.
Out of order and out of time.
Ms. Presley, you've
You all are
already
very
secured your
unserious.
MSNBC spot tonight.
I'm not
Your
look-
time's
I'm
required.
looking for
Chair
accountability,
recognizes Ms.
and you
Mace
want to
You're
run
gonna be
from
so
the
South Carolina.
hypocrisy
MSNBC.
of
Chair
your
recognizes Ms.
king
Mace.
and this administration.
Thank you, Mr.
Chair
Chairman.
recognizes Ms.
And
Mace.
Mr. Chairman, I agree.
You
She's
don't
going to be
care
a great
about
host on
hungry children. You wanna be
MSNBC.
cutting
This is
back.
my
I
time.
wouldn't want to jump
I
in front of
reclaim
Ms.
Hungry children? What?
my
Mace. If I
time.
were you, Ms.
I
Presley.
reclaim my time. This is my time.
I wouldn't want to interrupt Ms. Mace. It's her time. Chair recognizes Ms.
Oh, she's still fucking going. Wow.
Mr. Chair,
You are out of order.
she did not get all of her time.
Mr. Chairman,
She
she's
wants to
still out
insult
of
us for
order.
10 more seconds.
What do
Your
we
time
have to
is
do to
expired.
get this
Chair-
woman in order?
Her time is expired.
Zero self-control.
Chair recognizes
You're
Ms.
going to be great
Mace.
on TV. You're really good. No, baby, you're not. No, baby, you're not. You are not in order. You're out of order. Goodbye. You're done.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, it's my
Chair
5 minutes.
recognizes Ms. Mace.
Are we good here? Mr.
That was great. All right. Excuse me. Ilhan Omar getting backlash for not attending the fraud hearing. How about that? Oh, meanwhile, I guess she was sitting at a Black Caucus lunch right across the hall. Looks dead ass empty. Only people in there are interested in the buffet, which looks delicious. But it's very good. Oh, gosh. Asshole. All right. Mike Lindell just wrapped up an interview with CBS Minnesota, WCCO in downtown Minneapolis. And as I stood here, sirens in the background reminded me exactly why I'm running for governor. Yeah. Must have been the shooting.
Hello, everyone. Here I am in downtown Minneapolis. I just got interviewed on WCCO for my governor run, and you can hear the sirens going off in the distance. It's been just chaos, as you know, here in Minnesota and Minneapolis, and I'm looking forward to tonight. We're having a big debate and a forum for the rest of the governor candidates, and I could really use all of your help out there. We're going to win this. You can go to MikeLindellGov.com. Thank you all, and God bless. Hello, everyone. Here I
Excuse me. Man, this new batch of tea must be like short on the caffeine or something. What's the deal? What? Minneapolis daycare targeted in Nick Shirley YouTube video is now closed. State records show. Yep. Center requested closure of its license effective Tuesday. Oh, yeah. They'll pop right back up under a new name, new location in a matter of days. Luckily, it won't be difficult to find them now. Okay. What on earth is that? What am I looking at? Trump released a statement on the shooting. Did he? I've just viewed the clip of the event, which took place in Minneapolis. It's a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. Situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement and ICE agents on a daily basis. Let me see if excuse me, if we can pull up any live views of the protest yet. There's an aerial. Look at that. Can't even really tell how big it is. It's definitely a bunch of people here in these dark spots.
Ended, son of a gun. What the heck? That's bullcrap.
But this is just
Oh, he's Portland Andy. Cool.
supporting
All right.
each other.
Didn't get tired all of a sudden. It's like, I gotta go home, guys. I know this trick.
Thank you, Claudia. Oh, the appeal was not approved.
Wish I could make out what the speaker's yelling about. They're gonna work these people into a fucking frenzy, dude. Oh yeah, that's a lot of people. Right by where all the Floyd stuff happened. Yeah. Wow. It was a few hours ago. Can't make out there. Unfortunately, no idea what they're saying. Would really like to be able to know what they're saying to these people. Damn. All right. Excuse me. The woman who was shot is named Renee Nicole Good. This is apparently her wife, quote unquote.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! The fuck! You just.
This lady got blood.
Wow.
They don't. She was in a car with her, bro. Or she tried to save her or something. Somebody. Hey, was you riding with her? Did you call any of your people yet? So you don't got none of her family members or anybody number? Do you know anybody on her Facebook? Alright. Damn.
Jeez. Sad. There's a witness.
They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her.
Oh, she was one of the leaders, huh?
But she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so
yeah,
they wanted to get.
Being aggressive as fuck with a giant 5,000-pound vehicle.
Get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
That was her goal. They clearly.
Ilhan Omar, oh great. She's out doing rounds in the media.
Yeah, I mean, ICE has been carrying out.
Oh shit, come back here.
Yeah, I mean, ICE has been carrying out state-sanctioned violence in our communities. We have seen them terrorize so many of citizens in the 5th District and across Minnesota. And that has tragically led to this murder that we all watched on TV. And so it is not helpful for us to have ICE agents unlawfully just carrying out these ridiculous raids that are not resulting in any sort of arrests, that have no explanation of why they are there. They are disturbing peaceful communities that are just trying to live out their lives. And I join our mayor and our senator in asking them to get the heck out of our city. Yeah, I mean, ICE has been carrying out state-sanctioned violence.
Idiot. Well, we're back to say her name again. Okay, we're doing the say her name thing again, and then we're going to burn houses down. This is creepy and quasi-occult.
I don't know here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is
Look at these freaking cookie cutter carbon copy stupid ass white ladies. They all look the same. They're stupid haircuts. Ugh. Blank, idiotic stares. The worst thing to ever happen to this country. Letting them vote.
I say that
nightmare.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers.
Secretary, can you expand too on the agent's injuries? The president said that he's
Byron Jeffrey. Let me see. Oh no, what's his name? Hakeem.
There's no evidence that has been presented to justify the shooting of an unarmed.
Can't even hear that shit. Skip it. Anything else here worth checking? Yeah, what time is it even? Oh, it is. Wow, it is the top of the hour. All right, cool.
You're good. If you have a couple more you want to get through,
I don't. I'm just kind of skipping around at this point. You got anything fresh up to the minute?
Oh, listen, when I come behind you, I have to like be on my toes because you'll share like stuff because it's breaking, which I get it. Like, so I'm always kind of scouring. I'm behind you with the Minnesota stuff. It just looks a lot like George Floyd 2.0. Looks like what they're trying to spark up anyway.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see tonight
Mhm.
what this is gonna turn into. Oh, whoa! Fatal multi-vehicle crash with ejection in DC. The heck? Damn! It's like there's the freaking White House right there. What the hell? People were doing going that fast? That is nuts.
And further away, it's just the.
Jesus. Wow. Well, no idea what happened there, but something. Okay, let me pop this share down. Let you get to whatever you're going into. What are you
Word.
going into?
Well, probably a little bit of Minnesota. I'm going to start
Minnesota
with a little,
stuff.
yeah, and then Venezuela. Mike Ben said some good stuff about Venezuela. He actually was talking about it back in October, and so I'm going to pop some of that in here too, because
Nice. Yeah, I
because
played a
there's
little
stuff.
bit of that a few days ago. It's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories, right? The oil, of course, is the number one oil producer, but also if you look at the voting with, the voting machines there, plus you got the CIA and the coca, stuff. So it's an overall mess, so it's
It's exciting.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on. And it's like, the deep state took a long time to build. So it's going to take some time to dismantle. And I'm under the belief of course, Trump's not going to show all of his cards, but you have to be strategic in how you handle this stuff. The players of the game, if you want to change things, it's going to take some effort.
Yep. Indeed.
Yep, yep, yep. You know how it is.
All right. Where's my freaking Zoom window? Oh my gosh.
It's always at the bottom of the bar is my
Yep.
go-to. Like if I can't find it.
There we are. Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you get to it. You have a good show.
All right, get some rest.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right. Good night. All right, guys, let's look.